We are living in a time where a lot of people say a lot of things. Everybody has a platform, everybody has a podcast, everybody has a social media page. People can say whatever they want. Do their actions reflect that? Do your actions reflect what you say? I ask myself this all the time, and I'll tell you, there are some gaps. I think this is a huge part of whole story living. Welcome to the Storycraft podcast for storytellers. I'm your host, Meg Adams, and I'm here to help you explore how stories shape our connections. Wondering how stories help you network and advance? Looking to bridge online and face-to-face worlds, foster understanding, and ignite innovation? Look no further. Whether you're a leader, communicator, educator, or just love a good story, join us for actionable insights and real talk with professional storytellers, all aimed at helping you build stronger, better connections. So in this podcast episode, I want to talk about something that I have become really self-aware of in the past year or so, and that is making sure that if you talk the talk, that you walk the walk. So as leaders, or as people who want to be seen as leaders and to have impact in our communities, whatever that looks like, I think it's very important that we check ourselves and think about what we're saying and how our behaviors match what we're saying. I also think as organizational leaders, when we are working on campaigns or trying to reach communities, we need to be very, very careful about our assumptions and make sure that we are talking clearly to our audience. So I want to give an example of this. Kyle and I were recently working on a digital wellness initiative in our local community. And so a lot of times when we hear about digital wellness, most people and most research goes to adolescents. We're hearing a lot lately about, oh my gosh, these young people and their phones and their ChatGPT. And when Kyle and I were talking about this campaign and just having initial conversations about it, we were like, well, where are these kids learning their behavior from? The adults, because we don't know what we're doing. I mean, if I look around at any given restaurant or soccer game that I'm at with my kid, like I can't tell you, a lot of adults are on their phones. We are addicted to the phones. So how can we expect the adolescents and the younger people who are growing up with this technology to not be addicted to their phones? So what we did with that campaign was we focused it on adults, right? We were making sure that we were talking to both the caregivers and the adolescents. And I think that was a very important shift for the campaign. It's also, we're being positive. We don't want to shame or make anybody feel bad. That was always an outset of this. But that's a good example of making sure that you are really paying attention to your message, to who you're trying to reach, and to make sure that that aligns with your own behavior, right? Because if I'm sitting there griping about, these kids and their phones, and then I look around and I see everybody my age on their phone, well, that doesn't add up, right? That behavior doesn't match the message. So a big part of whole story living is being really conscious of why we say what we say and following that up. I think this is a little hard for some of us. The self-awareness piece I know has been difficult for me, and here's why. Because on social media, we do live in a social media world. I know a lot of people say they're not on it, but studies show we are all spending time in these spaces. And what that does is it sort of prompts us to perform. I think we always want to perform in public. We maybe show that shiny version of ourselves when we're outside of our homes or we're not around our safe people. But this is just accelerated on social media. We are seeing this curated version of our lives, and we are showing the curated version of our lives. And that's just how it is. But I do think that this is getting twisted even more, because I think we are not even aware a lot of times about how what we're saying is disconnected from what we're doing. So for leaders, talking to my leaders, if you are a leader of the home, if you are the leader of an organization, if you are a leader of a business, or you want to be, or you are having trouble with your coworker, you have to check yourself before you wreck yourself, as one of my students said the other day. I think it's really important to make sure that you understand who you are, how you want to show up, and make sure that your words are attached to actions. We are living in a time where a lot of people say a lot of things. Everybody has a platform, everybody has a podcast, everybody has a social media page. People can say whatever they want. Do their actions reflect that? As a leader, do your actions reflect what you say? I ask myself this all the time, and I'll tell you, there are some gaps in what I say and what I do sometimes. And so I would ask you, this would be my takeaway from this episode. I think this is a huge part of whole story living. Look at what you say you want to be. Look at what you say to your friends and your family and your coworkers and your team, and are your actions backing that up? Because this is the gap where we lose trust, in that gap between what we say and what we do. And I don't think any of us are perfect, but I do think that if we are going to live as better humans, this is something that culturally I see a lot of praise this on social media, or look how good I am at this, and then I meet that person in person and I'm just like, this is not what you project to be, right? And I immediately don't trust you, right? We want to reverse this as using whole story living. So you have to know who you are, what you want to be. You have to reflect on that. What type of leader do I want to be? Do I want to be an inclusive leader? Is everybody sitting at the table? Or am I purposely leaving someone out because that person talks a lot or gets on my nerves? It's just a simple question. So I hope this episode helps you think about that. Again, that gap between what you say and what you do. And I do this all the time. I think we really do have to become more self-aware and grow into this, but I think this is the way that we build back trust. We make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable. So this week, reflect on that. Start just paying attention. Okay, what am I saying on social media? Or what am I saying to my team? What am I saying to my kids or my spouse? And are my actions reflecting that? And am I gaining trust, or am I losing trust? So I hope that helps you today. Please let me know if it does, if you have questions, if you want to know more, if there's some aspect of whole story living or any one of these episodes that you would love to hear more about. Please let me know, reach out. Kyle and I are happy to create episodes according to your needs, and we just are feeling an urgency and a need to get this information out there. So thanks for listening. Please subscribe if you want to. That helps more people get access to the show too. So thanks again. We're looking forward to hearing from you. We're so glad you've listened to this podcast episode. If you liked it, would you mind doing us a favor? Share this episode with someone who would be interested in the topic too. We're on a mission to help everyone become a better storyteller. And don't forget to subscribe to the show to get updated every time we release a new episode. Each and every episode is produced, hosted, and edited by us, Meg and Kyle Adams at Homeplace Creative. Happy storytelling.